This week's podcast is very close to my heart. Since the 90s, I've been visiting Iceland whenever I could get the chance and whenever my wallet would allow. My most recent visit was just a few weeks ago as the earthquakes rattled the region near the main airport and the people of this wonderful land were in fear of a dormant volcano erupting at any moment. On the Saturday morning of my long weekend, I happened to visit the local beach outside Reykjavik, and just by pure good timing and luck, I stumbled upon a group of local women enjoying their regular dipping routine. My friend, a Reykjavik local, was able to introduce me, and within minutes I found myself togging out for a dip on the magnificent beach overlooking the city. These women are amazing. They meet 3 times a week and do a short meditation before the swim, as well as opening what they call their complaints department, where anyone in the circle of friends can vent their anger or upset about anything at that moment. That morning, swimmer Margaret told us she was anxious about the events of the time, and we all shared in that anxiety. But she said she realised that nothing would improve her mood better than a dip with her lady friends in the ocean. When we entered the water, the 30 or so of us were walking in 2 lines, arm in arm, and singing. It was an amazing experience. They told me later that the singing is a way of regulating your breathing as you enter the cold water. Now, these women don't wear wetsuits, just neoprene gloves, boots, and distinctive yellow hats. We spent a few minutes in the water, chatting, laughing, and dipping, and then we came out together and did a 10-minute routine of stretching, dancing, and lots more laughing. Even though the water had been ice cold, I never felt chilly, not even for a second. Of course, the attraction of the hot baths and steam room on the beach, thanks to the country's geothermal water system, made it a very pleasant ending to a wonderful experience. These inspiring women told me they formed the Happier You swimming group during COVID when their usual hot spring pools were closed to the public. I just had to learn more about these delightful women living on the island, which is our closest northern neighbour. So I invited Tina, Margaret, and Clara on the podcast to share their story. So welcome to my guests today, Tina, Margaret, and Clara, who are all swimmers in Reykjavik in Iceland, who I had the pleasure of meeting recently on the beach in Iceland just a few weeks ago. And they have set up a lovely swimming group there in the last few years. And so we're joining them today so they can tell us a little bit about swimming in Iceland and the lovely women that have joined them. So who would like to tell me just when the group was set up and why?
Yeah, so Margaret and we set up the group in November 3 years ago. And it was a happy accident how the group was formed, because Margaret and we both work in the health industry, so to speak, or wellness industry. So we hold different courses to help people seek wellness and better health. And we decided in one of our communal courses that we would add in a day in the sea. So we were talking about fasting and diet, and we decided to add a sea day because Margaret and I were both doing dipping in the sea. And then after that first session where we took our group to the sea, this was COVID times, and everything was shut, so we didn't have any hot tub or sauna or the normal facilities, and all the swimming pools in Iceland were shut. And we are a nation of people that we like our swimming pools. We do a lot of outdoor swimming all year round, so people were quite hungry for that. So but after that first day trying out cold water swimming, everyone was so excited about that. So we added in, so instead of 1 day a week, we did 3 days a week on that course. And that's how we started. So, and after that course finished in November, we decided to continue with the sea swimming, but we stopped the fasting course. No one wanted to fast in December.
So you've kept it going since then, and that's not unlike Ireland, where a lot of people got interested in swimming during the pandemic because it was the one place they could go was to the water. And and thank you for that explanation, Tina. And Margaret, could you explain to me, because people won't realize that when you talk about a lot of Icelanders going swimming, a lot of the time the water is very warm or hot because you have these lovely pools. And so I'm assuming that the cold water was unusual for you, was it, to get into the cold water?
Yeah, so for Tina and me, we were used to doing it and we knew how we felt afterwards. So we thought, okay, we are going to get people fast. So we have to get them really happy also, you know, because it can be difficult to fast. So that, and I mean, that was the thought. We are going to make them happy in the ocean. And that was what happened, you know. And that's why we don't wear wetsuits, because we are only very short time in the ocean, right? We are only for amount of time which makes us, you know, take energy and like a high from the ocean. So when the ocean is like 5 degrees or less, we are maybe 3 minutes.
Okay, that's
so
long enough.
Getting high. Sorry?
That is long enough to be in that temperature. You don't want to be there much longer when it's below 5 degrees.
Yeah, so we always adapt to what the temperature of the sea is doing. And here in Iceland, in the summer, the sea can be about 14 degrees. And but in the winter, we can go down to minus degrees. And last winter in January, we had minus 2.3 in the sea. Yeah, but we always adapt to that. So we, in the summer, we do swimming and we can stay in longer and we can swim up to few kilometers even. Or but in the winter, then we adjust the stay in the sea, and we don't swim, but we dip. So, and we are a community of dippers. So we predominantly go into dip and relax and go in the water and enjoy. Yeah, so we focus on relaxing into this challenging situation.
And we focus also on that it's like we are playing, you know, it's about always show up, although you don't want to come. And we always tell our participants, just show up, although you don't want to go in. You just see when you arrive if you want to go in or not. You can always participate in the meditation before and the dancing after. So you don't really have to go in. But once you're there, everybody always goes in.
And Clara, will you explain to the listeners a little bit of what you do before you go in, which I joined you in a few weeks ago, the meditation, as Margaret mentioned there.
Yes, we gather together on the beach, and Magga or Tina will lead us in. We do, example, thank the nature for taking care of us, for being good to us. The sea, we love the sea. It hugs us, and when it's windy or it's cold, whatever, we thank for it, because it's always a part of it. And we warm up with some exercise. And I thought when Margaret was talking about what we do in the sea, we dip. We do not swim so much. Most of us, some do swim. But Magga has this little bowl, gong bowl. I'm not sure if it's the right word for it, Magga. but she takes it down, and it's not so long time since my sister-in-law came for the first time with us, and it was about 5 degrees. She had never been in the sea. She was trying, so I was always thinking, please do not go too far, take it easy. But when Magga bankaði í,
Use the.
she,
It's like a gong, is it? Like a cymbal?
yes, it's a little bowl. She takes it sometimes with us in the
It makes
sea.
a lovely
And she-
noise.
yes, and we gone us down in the sea. And before I knew, my sister-in-law for her first time was in the sea. She was up to neck, and she loves it. She is never going to stop, I think. And
Brilliant.
that was the same with me when I started. I started to try if it has something, some relief for my pain in legs and back, and it does. It's wonderful to, yes, relieve the pain a little, and I never feel better than in the ocean, and I am never happier than the moments with these ladies. I just love it. And people who know me, they say, for example, my sister-in-law, she came, she said, we can see it on Clara, what it does to her. She is just happier. We can see it. So yes, I want to try.
Brilliant.
And people talk about it. You are different. They
Yeah.
say you are different since you started, and they will not get rid of me. I think I am going to stick with them.
Hope
I
not.
love it.
And
Love
and
you.
you mentioned there, Clara, about the relief for the pain in your back,
Yes,
and people go to the water for very different reasons. So
yes.
the members of the group, do you know some of the reasons why some of the other members, have they spoken about why they've joined? Is it different?
I know one, she started because of she was grieving. So she was trying to find something to help her with that. Yes, I've heard about this, about pain relief, because until I tried, I thought people that went into the ocean of their own free will, they were crazy. It must be really crazy people. But now I am one of the crazy people, and I love it. And I don't remember hearing about reasons. Magga and Tinna know, I'm sure, about more reasons why people start.
Do you ladies, do you remember any of the other reasons people told you?
Yes, I think we've had, like you said earlier, so since COVID, I think things have changed. And I think we've seen an influx of people, loads of newcomers that want to try sea swimming and or cold water exposure, cold water therapy. And I think not only in Iceland, but in the rest of Europe or in the cold countries, we are seeing lots of interest in that. And and we have people that come for pain relief, like Clara mentioned, people that have been grieving, people that are have experienced burnout, people that have lived stressful lives and want to come for some sort of relief to help manage stressful situations better. Depression.
And the
People that have
social,
depression.
the social
Depression,
element too, though, Tina, is just being with other women and meeting them every few days.
Yes,
Like you
the
say,
key.
even if you don't go into the water, there's a lovely element of kinship and friendship and love.
Absolutely. And that's very, very important. And our methods, how we organize ourselves in our group, it's very important to be kind to yourself, to listen to your needs, and to listen to your own limits and boundaries. And some days when we show up at the beach, we can feel like, oh, it's just not really my day today. I'm not feeling very well, or I'm feeling, I don't feel like I want to go in the water. I want to go in for a short while.
And the group is also important. When we walk into the ocean, we always hold hands.
Yes.
And we sing to help to regulate our breathing, because that is the main thing, to regulate the breathing, to be able to relax into the cold. And this group thing is a very, very important thing for us. Also we also invite, if it's cold and we see, like, sometimes we are struggling or sometimes we see somebody is struggling, then we always say, like, okay, now we are going to open the complaint department. And everybody can say, well, what they want to say. I don't really want to go in today. It's cold, it's wet, and I do not feel like it. And just when you say it out loud, you release the pressure. It doesn't change anything what we're going to do, because we're all going in. But just to say it out loud, it somehow changes the situation in your body and helps you to relax.
And then when you come out, you do a lovely routine of dancing and clapping and moving. And I really
Yes.
love that, because I found I had warmed up. I don't think I ever actually got cold at any point, because we were warmed up before we went in through the meditation, and we warmed up after we came out through the dance. But that was a
Yeah.
lovely little routine when we came out. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's important to be able to be self-sufficient when you do cold water or cold water therapy or cold water exposure. And we need to know how to warm up afterwards, because not, at least here in Iceland, not in every situation will you have a hot tub or a sauna to go into afterwards. And you need to be able to get home safely. So this is what we find is very important, that we go in the sea, and then we learn how to warm up afterwards, and we do it by engaging the muscles. So you put your muscles, your big muscles, for example, your bum and your thighs, the largest muscles of the body, we put them into a tension or a little bit of a workout, and not dissimilar to what Wim Hof does. So the horse dance, if for those that know that.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, we do spend some time, at least 10 minutes after the sea, to do warm-ups. And then we go in a hot tub because it's nice, not because we need to. And doing it this way means that we can go in the sea anywhere.
And we do the dancing thing also because it's fun, and we want to play, and we want to feel like kids, because I think when we grow adults, we play. We are not playing enough, so we want to have it playful, and we want to have it. It's not supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be fun.
One of the ladies did mention to me about, I don't know, was it yourself, Margaret, that sometimes it gets to minus 1 or 2, and you actually need to break the ice, or maybe even before it gets below freezing. So, and you actually break the ice before you go in the water. Like if Irish people went to the water and saw it was frozen, they would just go home. It would be too much work breaking anything. But you actually insist on going in every day anyway, or every day that you can.
Yes. So if it's a Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday, we're in the sea. And if the weather is crazy wind and snow or rain or hailing, frozen sea, it doesn't matter.
Christmas Day.
Or Christmas Day, we go in.
We go in, and we have participants in the group, and they are coming now, and they are saying, "Oh, is it frozen?" Because they're really like looking forward to break the ice. But we haven't had frozen sea until we haven't had it yet.
But sometimes when we get down to around 0 degrees, then the sea is like a slushy. So you walk in and it's like an ice slushy walking in. That's nice. We love it.
But I mean, we don't wear wetsuits, but what is important to say is we wear shoes. Right?
Oh yes, yeah.
We wear neoprene shoes
And gloves.
and we wear gloves, and we always have hats.
Woolly hats.
Yeah.
And you also have this beautiful thing that we saw for the first time, which was like I don't know how you describe it. I know you have a name for it in Icelandic. It's like the top half of your traditional jumper, and it's just the neck and the shoulders part, and you wear it over your togs, and it keeps, I suppose, your upper chest and your neck warm. So what is the name for that? It's knitted.
Great.
Hún ekki að tala bara hálsklút eins og, eða þú veist,
Jú.
hálskraga eins og ég hef verið
Yes.
með.
Like a collar. Collar, I suppose, in England.
Collar, yes,
Yes.
we would say the same in Icelandic, yes, and it's usually knitted at home, like the one that you have, Clara. Did you knit that yourself?
Yes.
Yes, and
From
we use
wool.
wool, Icelandic wool.
Yes, Icelandic wool, because it's warm even if it's wet.
All right.
So
And the quality of the Icelandic wool is that it's a little bit water repellent, so it doesn't absorb the water. So that's really, so when you come out of the water with the collar around your neck, you're not going to be, it's not really heavy. So you can just scrunch it and it feels as if it's dry. So it keeps you nice and warm. Yeah.
Well, the other thing that I found absolutely amazing was the hot tub and the hot pool and the steam room, which I think are provided by the local authority, the local council or your equivalent. And they are actually in quite a lot of locations because, of course, you have the wonderful geothermal hot water. So was that a part of all your lives growing up, that you had this wonderful access to these amazing facilities, which we don't have at all unless you pay an awful lot of money in a very private, exclusive club here?
Yes, and it's not expensive. So compared to probably in Ireland, this is we pay 800 Icelandic krona, which is
£4.
Yeah, it's like £5 maybe. And then we have what is really unique about Nauthólsvík, the geothermal beach, is that the hot water that is used in Reykjavik to heat the houses, when it has been used to heat all the houses in the community, it's streamed into Nauthólsvík, into this geothermal beach, and we use it for the hot tub. And then it's streamed into the sea. So the lagoon area of Nauthólsvík, or the geothermal beach, is where the temperature of the sea is slightly warmer, because you have all that water being streamed out into the sea there. So that really makes this place quite unique, actually.
And then tell me just about sea swimming itself in Iceland, as in, you mentioned there that in the summer you can swim for a few kilometers. Is that quite popular in Iceland? Like distance swimming?
There is a small community that does that, a small group of people. So mostly people are dipping or going for a few minutes like we do in our group. But there is a community of swimmers, long distance swimmers, and there are a few events in Iceland that are very interesting for people that would like to do some swimming. And we have, for example, in the geothermal beach area, we swim across the bay, and that's 950 meters both ways. And then there's another swim that is usually held in end of July, around that time when the sea temperature is slightly higher, and that's swimming from Reykjavik harbor over to Viðey, which is a small island in the bay of Faxaflói. And then there's another swim in the west of Iceland and the swim is across a fjord, and that's a swim that is 2.5 kilometers, and that's always the last weekend in August. And
It's
also
one in Skagafjörður, Drangeyjarsund.
Yeah, and then there's a Drangeyjarsund. That's a challenging swim. That's 6 kilometers from an island rock out in fjords, and you swim from the rock over to shore, and that's a very historically famous swim here in Iceland, and only a few, I think maybe 20 people in total have completed that swim.
And is the water temperature quite chilly then when you're swimming in a glacier area?
So in the
or in a
west
fjord?
country that swim in the end of August, when I swam that 2 years ago, and then the sea was around 10 degrees.
Okay, so that would be considered cold in Irish terms.
Yes, and it's not a timed swim. Oh, well, it's a timed swim, but it's not. You can wear fins and you can wear a wetsuit. So all of the swims that I mentioned, you can really just decide how you want to be equipped for the swim. And there's only one swim that is in the East country, and that's in a lake, a freshwater lake, and that's a timed swim, and you only go in your you don't go in wetsuits, you go in your swimmers.
And it's coming up to Christmas now, ladies, and I was wondering, will you have a little get together on the beach before Christmas?
Yes.
And will you exchange gifts, or will you have a special little dance, or will you do something special for Christmas?
We already had our a Christmas party a week ago, where we gathered and we had a great time one evening. And then we have we do always something little different. Once a month, for example, we dip somewhere else where we don't have the hot tub. And then we have a party the day before New Year's Eve. And we always party during the day, We dance and play during the day. And we on New Year's Eve or the day before New Year's Eve, we are going to meet up at 11 or something. And then we're going to dress up. Everybody dresses up how they want to, and also the day before Christmas, then we will also dress up like Christmassy and play with that. So we have a different. We always have a different. How do you say it?
Yeah, we try to switch it up. Yes,
themes, right?
And we celebrate Christmas here in Iceland on the 24th, and. So the day before is our normal. So Saturday is a sea day for us. So on the 23rd, we are in the sea anyway. But on the 24th, we have an extra session in the morning at 11 or at 10, maybe 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And that's our Christmas bath. Because it's unthinkable to go into Christmas on the 24th without having a dip in the sea. So we have an extra session on a Sunday, the 24th at 10 to go on the sea together.
Isn't it, Clara? We have to meet on Christmas Day, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. It's just unthinkable to ring in Christmas without having been in the sea that day.
Exactly.
Okay.
We do the same here. Yeah.
Okay, but I was thinking, because you asked if we knew each other, that's not the case with this group. We did not know each other before we met on the beach. I have never seen this girl before I saw them on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
So we did not know, and we do not know what any of the others are doing, for work or something. We do not know that, only a few, I know a few ladies in the group, but not many. How many are we, do you think?
We are like 80, 70, 80. What combines us is that we just love each other.
Yes. We do not need to know each other more. We just love each other.
Exactly.
We love to play together.
Yes. And what is so amazing about the sea is that we all show up in our swimming costumes, and we are not our job. We are not our education. We are not our status. There's no status in the sea. We're all the same. And we love that so much.
And it's your love of the sea that combines you.
Yes, exactly.
Am I right in saying the translation of the group is happy together?
Happier you, yes.
Yes, happier together. Yes.
Gladari þú means happier you.
All right.
That's what happens. That's what happens when you go into the sea. You will be happier coming out. That's the science shows us that it's an influx of happy hormones. So we named it that.
Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining me today, because it was absolutely wonderful to get a little insight into how other countries are doing it, and especially our nearest northern neighbours, Iceland. And there's only one letter between us. And it was absolutely wonderful to join you there recently. And I'm hoping that we can entice you down to West Cork for a trip and a dip in the sea with us.
We would love that.
Can I add something?
Oh,
I just want to say you did great when you visited us.
Yes.
Without a wetsuit in a really cold ocean. And it was great having you as a guest with us. And we would really love to visit you. So we are going to build a connection here.
Absolutely. And we'd absolutely love to have you. And I know loads of women and loads of listeners to the podcast will be down wherever we decide to go when you come over to meet you, and they'd love to see you. So thank you so much, and a happy Christmas from West Cork in Ireland to everyone in Reykjavik in the happier
having us.
Happy Christmas to you too.
Happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks for listening to the Southern Stars from A to C podcast series. This episode was produced and presented by Southern Star editor Siobhán Cronin and edited by me, Dylan Mangan. This is the 9th episode focusing on sea swimming, so if you enjoyed it, please be sure to check out our other 8 episodes with people like long-distance swimmer Ken O'Shea, 4 of the men behind the iconic Fast Net Swim, and the inspiring Pamela DC. For stories like this and more, visit southernstar.ie/podcasts, where you can swim through previous episodes, and be sure to pick up a copy of this Thursday's newspaper in shops across West Cork or online via subscribe.southernstar.ie. Please rate, review and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts to make sure you don't miss any future episodes, and we'll be back again very soon. Thanks for listening.